Hello everyone, my name is Barbara and this video is a podcast. But a podcast is a big word. Here more I'll be showing you my crafty life, most based on the knitting per se. If you want to find me on social media, I'm everywhere as knttingILove, and obviously all the links you have down below. Lately I've been closing a few things, and if you're watching me for the first time, well, it's been a while since I started knitting, and I started knitting when I was a little girl, probably, you know, with school you have to make a scarf, and then later on I got a book. I wanted to use it. I didn't want it to stay on my shelf, so I tried to knit and it worked quite well. I had a break for the college and university, and then adulthood. And because I'm an expat, I live in Ireland, but I'm originally from Poland, I wanted to keep connection with my family. And the most amazing thing is when you share your hobby, and even better if it's a craft one. So I wanted to show my mom what I've done with yarn and needles. And it started with the photos, but it was too much of editing and I just played with the video. But knitting is not only that. As you can see, these are my medals. I was a former swimmer. And to be honest, if you can find anything outside of anything physical, like, you know, swimming or any athletic sports are, so you can use your brain in a different way than in school or sports, it will definitely gives you some extra power and that zone that you can go into when school or sport is sometimes hard to handle. But knitting is not only my escape room, it also gives creativity, relaxes, you can zone out or zone in. I don't know your definition of it, but basically when you zone out, you basically don't think about anything, but sometimes you want to zone in to focus on one particular thing. Working with your hands, creating something with a one strand, making something from almost nothing is just a rewarding feeling. Also, don't forget that not only that, you can make amazing things and you can gift it to people you love, but they truly have to be knit-worthy. I hope you like my introduction to knitting the way I see it. I hope you're sharing quite a similar thing. So it's time for me to show you what I've been up to. I love to knit for other people, but sometimes the things that I knit, and especially when you're starting, may not fit you the way you want to. You wear it for a while and then you think, you know what, it will definitely suit someone that I know will love it, enjoy it, and the most importantly, wear it. Here are two sweaters that I knitted, and if you want me to tell you more about them, I'll put the link down below to my garments playlist, and you can find them there on YouTube if you want to watch video, or you can go to my project page on Ravelry and find them over there too. This was knitted with a rustic yarn. I got the yarn in Poland, I can tell you that. It was my souvenir. I have plenty of this yarn. It's very crunchy, and I would say from 1 till 10 is the most rustic yarn I've ever knitted with. So only for those who are not afraid to challenge themselves. But I know a person who would enjoy it, especially that she read about all the wool benefits, and she truly believes in them, and she would want to get that natural sensation around her skin, which is perfect. This is a fitted garment. I test knitted it, so I help my fellow knitter to publish a pattern that is a paid for pattern, which basically means if you're for the first time have never heard about knitting, means that to create a pattern you have to write it down, get a lovely tech editor to fix all the things that you missed, but then just double check that everything is right to get a few knitters who would knit your pattern. And I thought it's very hard with the garments, so I volunteered to do it. When you do this, you do not get paid. Mostly you have to have your yarn. Sometimes the designers have some requirements in regards what kind of yarn you can use, and so on and so on. Some even have terms and conditions. So it's from let's do it for me to I have everything in writing what you need to do. But basically it was a fun knit, very quick. I loved it so much, and it was my first test knit experience knitting a garment. But as I mentioned, it is closely fitted, and that's the way it is designed. And I fit it into it, and it fits me very well. So maybe on the screen I'll show you a few photos so you can see it now. But the combination of those two, and I'm a fan of maybe Positive Ease from 4 inches 10 centimeters. I'm going to gift it. I just basically wore it just for photos and maybe once for a walk. And my second beauty is this one. Even though you can watch it on YouTube and check what that is, this is knitted with Drops Flora. So we have alpaca over here. It's quite affordable yarn, and I got it on the sale, so even way better. So it's very affordable sweater. If you've never knitted with wool or alpaca and you want to try to experience that, and you know you have a different budget, I would truly recommend you to go and check this yarn, a blend with 100% wool. So check that out. As you could see, this is a quite unusual design. I started to follow a pattern from this section, but then I just decided to forget myself, just let my hands do the work and not think too much, and that's why the design came up. So over here we have a garter stitch because I was knitting in the round, so I had to do one knit and one purl round. And then I decided, because I'm not such a jewelry person per se, maybe at the moment anyway, I just wanted something over here to emphasize my neckline. I love it so much. I have my tags that you can use them also as progress keepers with a safety pin looking like a bowl. And over here you may have noticed too, in case you ask, this can be found in my shop. This is a collar one, so if you see it, the heart is upside down because it needs to fit on a collar right in the proper direction. And you can see that I knitted it this year, 2019. I think it would be a perfect. So what I did with this one, I used my electric trimmer, bubble remover, to get the bits that you can find after wearing any knitwear. So if you're not a knitter, that's something you may want to consider. There are also some manual ones, but I got that one and so far it's working for me, so I'm not going to switch, but I'm curious how it is to do it manually. The next two things that I've been working lately are in these two bags. I do not know the maker, but I received this bag as a gift from Vicky, so thank you so much. I'm using it. So we have, as you can see, socks. This is a keychain, I call it, but basically what I do with it, I do not use it for keys. I use it for a zipper to pull it, so it's way easier. And over here you can see that I'm knitting a sweater. This bag actually does not belong to me, it belongs to Sebastian. Once he went to the yarn retreat, during the Bubbles yarn retreat, and there was some kind of swapping gifts and he was involved, and you could pick whatever you want, and he picked this beautiful bag. So he lets me to use it. And because he lets me to use it, I'm knitting a socks for him. He was quite curious how it is to wear a shorty socks. If you don't know what shorty socks are, basically the cuff is shorter than usually you would have. I'm not sure would that be classified as a shorties for him. What I did over here, I think I have 8 stitches per 1 inch over here, or maybe 9. So basically this length is 10 centimeters. For me it's 9 when I'm knitting for myself. To achieve that with my gauge, I had to pick certain needles, so you could see them over here. And Yes, of course, it is a gift knit. To achieve that, I casted on 64 stitches, and I know I'm so lucky because some of the male socks needs to be knitted on more than 64, even up to 72, and I can't imagine how you can do those. So amazing job, knitters, whoever have done that. Write it down. Have you ever knitted a socks bigger than 64 stitches? But anyway, so I started from the toes, and I got a yarn. I'm going to show you in a sec what the yarn is. Very budget friendly. From toes up, and once I finished toes, I did 70 rounds. For myself, I do 60, so 70, then I did 40 and 2x2 rib. I'm not sure for how long I did the rib, to be honest, but probably for like 10 rounds. And then during the knitting, I mark. I'll show you over here how it looks. Woo! So this is how it looks on the go. We have a tube, and I basically mark 17th round, and I keep on going, and when I finish I come back and I'm doing afterthought heel. I've never done that before on this channel. You can find it. I'll put the link down below to my How I Do Things playlist, and you can find things that I do my way. And as you can see, I have it over here. You could see a few needles. Toes I knit on using magic loop, so we need circular needles, longer with a longer cable, and then I switch to 9-inch, and basically what I do, I just put the needles in, clip them, and it stays like this. So all set is there. I don't have to look for any needles. And I took from my shop this beautiful gift knitting pouch, because I do loads of gift knitting, and I decided to emphasize it a little bit more, so when I take photos without even reading, you know what that's about. Yarn. So this is the one that I used for the toes only, and this is the one that I used for socks. These are 50 grams, so I'm hoping, probably no way, but I'll have to get into another ball to use for socks. And these I got in Lidl, and I know I have some Americans and Canadian viewers, and just to let you know that Lidl and Aldi, they're two shops in Europe. They were, according to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, grocery shops, opened by two German brothers, and that's why it's Lidl or Lidl and Aldi. And what they come up with, that every month they have a theme, and during a theme, and in each country, I'm in Ireland, in Poland it's different, in Belarus or Lithuania, I hear different stuff, because I'm showing that they have a yarn month. Before December, they sell yarn. You most of the time see acrylic, but I came across of this yarn, which is 75% wool and 25% polyamide. It comes with 4 balls with a package. Maybe later I'll show it to you when I get a chance. I've knitted socks with Lidl yarn before because I got 2 sets, and I also knitted a toy with the Lidl kind of package kit. Well, I wasn't so happy about it from perspective of the way the pattern was written. It was easy pattern, but the way it was written was so complicated, and I got loads of comments under that video. Yeah, that whoever got the kit and it's pure beginner, it's so hard for them to make it, which makes them very disappointed. My socks on the go. Hello, in a different location. So I'm here in our guest room. But if you're wondering, we are renting a house, so if someone comes to visit us, they will have their own room. Fun. So I showed you a bag, and you know who owns it, who made it. It's a mystery. There's nothing written down in it, but I really like it. I think so the flowers and the fabric is just amazing, isn't it? And that's probably basically why he grabbed it. And we have a sweater over here. Now, I do not have a pattern printed because I try not to print the patterns. I have an app. It's called this companion. It's a free app. I know there is upgrade and I would want to do that. However, there's information that if you want to do it, you have to do certain steps to transfer the data that you have in your previous version to the new one, and I'm afraid to do that, so I hesitate to get the new app, but I really want to. Have you done it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me know down below. So what do I have over here? I have over here Neville, I think it says. I'm not sure. Wait a sec. Now, I hope you can see it. It's actually Navelli. I need to learn the name. It is a cropped top. And as you can see, it has beautiful color work over here. It is not a slip stitch, it's a color work. And it needs 3 colors, main color for the body and then 2 colors for this beautiful piece over here. There are amazing photos, and I received this pattern as a gift from a friend, from Lisa, so thank you so much. I enjoy it. As you can see, I have started knitting it, and because I couldn't resist, I think she's going to knit with me too. Unless I finish first. but we shall see, because the color work is quite interesting. But after that, we're going to switch to the stockinette, and we shall see how that goes. However, you may not know, but I'm also watching podcasts, and this is Sweet Georgia podcast. If you have never watched it, check it out. This is a version that actually blown my mind, and I figure out that I may have a yarn for it. Ages ago, actually, I bought one skein from Bubbles Yarns from Grace, a local, and by telling you a local, I mean like here, a few kilometers away from me, a dyer in Ireland, and I got one skein in one yarn event, and I got another skein in another yarn event. I think that was 2018, and one I got at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and I think one I got during the woolen, and the other one I got during Bubbles Yarn Retreat. But I fall in love with the colour. It's Donna. Dun in Irish means brown, but I think she renamed it or slightly changed the tones and stuff, which actually I got the full sweater quantity. So that I'm going to show you properly when I be casting on with it. So here is Bubbles Yarns, and I have 2 skeins still, you know, outside of my sweater collection, sweater yarn quantity collection, and it's the darkest one, and I tried to get it. Obviously hand-dyed yarn is slightly different, so you never know what you get. As a base. And then, very deep stash. I got this online from Ellie and Ada, another Irish dyer. I'm not sure actually if they still have these bubble bands. But yes, this is a Cloudburst. Over here you have information about the yarn, and I think I'm reading it right, isn't it? Cloudburst. This is a beautiful delicate pink colors with the speckles. So nice, so nice, as you can see. I'm going to show you how it knits up with the color work. But before I start, just to tell you this, these 2 yarns have, I think, different weights. There are fingering, but according to information, the brown one is 400 meters in 100 grams. Oh. And our lovely, delicate, cloudy pink, Cloudburst, is 425 meters, so it's a little bit thinner. So when you have less meterage or yardage in 100 grams, that means that it's thicker. More you have, it's thinner. But at the end of the day, 25 is not that different. The blend wise, you're asking, this is 75% superwash merino moleskin free, 25% nylon, and the other is 25% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So the content of them is the same. Is it? It is. So what do I have over here? I have a bundle of joy. The pattern is written from the bottom up, and this is not the favorite way of knitting for me. Okay, I'll take it up. So there I have 2 needles. So I have 2 needles over here. One, we have the one that I did the ribbing. That's 2.75 millimeters, which would be 2 US, I think. In my lovely pouch, you can still grab, I think, a few in my shop. And over here, and if you see red cores, that means it's Chagu lace. And here I have knit picks, but wooden, interchangeable. They're coming off for a bit, and I have to screw them back. But they are 5-inch, so the length of the needle is 5-inch. Normally I used 4, but I thought, you know, let's change that, and that's why I also have a longer cord, which I believe, I haven't measured it, but I believe it's maybe 18 centimeters, 32 inches, I'm guessing. And here how it knits up. I hope you can see it. I'm almost finishing the chart. I think maybe 1/4 of the chart I have to do, and I'll be switching to different yarn, and it's a different weight and it's a different blend. And I forgot to tell you, I was so bold and I did not check my gauge, or I didn't do any swatches, because the pattern says that you need to knit it with loads of positive ease, so basically that the thing that you're wearing is loose on you. So if it gets bigger, I think that will be just a fashion statement, and if it gets a little bit smaller, we can specify it was done on purpose. So basically that will be a bit of my special touch or personal touch. Okay, I'm going to grab yarn. Let's go. Now we're in a place that I do your orderings. Basically put everything over here and pack them nicely. So let me show you the yarn that I'm going to use next. Sorry for the light, I think it's quite bright, but you probably even see it a little bit better. So here how it looks in the cake, and here how it looks in Hank officially, but everyone calls it a skein. These are the people who are responsible for such a beautiful yarn. So here it is. You can see the information. Check them out. And I got the yarn during the Woolen Yarn Festival, which was in March. No, which was in June. No, which was in June, and it's July, and I'm caking this baby and knitting with it. I'm so happy. I think that's what's actually going on. What's normally I will call it what's on my needles, what's on my chest. And you're probably wondering what I have finished so far. So on the screen you could see what else you can find on my channel, which I called Finished Object videos. Will I continue those? I'm not sure. I definitely have fun making them, but it takes a lot of time. So yes, I'm not sure, to be honest. But you can definitely subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I publish a video. Also, I try to let you know on Instagram, so if you're there, go check, follow me. In regards to cows, I'm going to put information over here in the eye. I recorded a video where I explain threads in my Knitting I Love group, where you can swap things, where you can chat, where you can take part in some giveaway, and so on and so on. So I recommend you to go and check it out if you're a beginner knitter or you're advanced knitter, or you're even a crocheter. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this format. It's a little bit more casual. I can take you places, and probably what I'll be doing a snips of every day, more kind of vlog things, but just related to things that I'm working on a day basis, so you could have a sneak peek of actual progress. I think that's going to be quite interesting. Then me finding a time to sit down for an hour and a half and just briefly show you some section done on my needles. And I think that's all. I'm quite shy now, vulnerable, I think that's the word, because I'm doing something different. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, what do you think about this format? Is it more interesting for you? I may take you to different places, like different rooms, or even outside, completely outside of my comfort zone, and we can chit chat a little bit about crafts and knitting and life. I hope you enjoyed this one. See you next one. Don't forget to use #knttingILove. Show me what you're knitting. Tell me down below, what do you think about knitting? And cześć, that actually means bye in Polish, or hi. You can use it in both of those situations. Oh yes, and if you are interested to see this madness, because I'm learning something, you can definitely check links down below.